Chafing Armor Podcast, Episode 2. Remember, always clothe your spell scale sorcerer. Welcome to the second episode of the Chafing Armor Podcast. I'm your host and Dungeon Master, Michael Corley. With me today is the illustrious James. James, will you tell us who you are playing?
I am playing Penton Chalice. He is a spell scale sorcerer who is very pretty.
He is a pretty man. And next up, we have Izzy Corley, no relation except my daughter. And Izzy, would you please tell us who you are playing?
I am playing as Rezi Mugra, the half-orc barbarian.
Excellent. And next up, we have Dare. Dare, would you tell us what your character is?
Good evening, everybody. My character is Tix Birchman's son. He is a cleric gnome who has run away from his family seeking adventure.
And also with us today is a secretly silent Lee who will be playing the part of Osokai and will be communicating through secret Kabbalistic symbols. When last we left our intrepid heroes, they were inside a cave surrounded by goblin trash. They have rescued the mysterious sorcerer from a fate worse than death, being skinned alive by goblins. He has been cut loose, but he is in very bad shape.
I go over and check on the sorcerer and introduce myself. Tix Birchman's son. I'm a cleric. You may remember. I don't know if your head is still attached properly. Would you like me to cure your wounds and make you feel a little bit better?
Actually, I think I'm okay. I'm just a little shaken up.
And you look about, this cave is, again, it is a hoarder's nightmare. It is just every conceivable object has been crammed into every corner. This central area is the only one that is somewhat free of debris because it is technically the throne room of the chieftain, who is now missing a head. You also notice that Osokai, the strange large man who had a bear trap attached to his leg, had walked outside mumbling something about treating his wound. Now, what I want to know is, do y'all want to look for anything while you're in here? Please note that there is entirely a chance that an entire family or horde or cadre of goblins could return at any time.
Morezi was motivated to come here for loot, so she decides to check around the corpse of the Goblin King and his weird, I believe that he was sitting upon a trash throne and all that follows.
All right, if you would roll a 20-sided die for me.
I rolled a 19.
Ooh.
Huzzah.
So, as you said, the throne itself is primarily made of trash, but you find one object that catches your eye, and you're almost certain, even though you have no capability in this regard, that there's something magical about it, because it shouldn't catch your eye. It is simply a round iron band. It almost looks like a bracelet, but it's slightly too small, and there's something that just draws you to it. As far as money or wealth, you find about 7 silver. That's all there is in this trash kingdom.
Then Morezi would choose to pocket this, I believe.
Oh, one other minor thing. Our wonderful sorcerer. You are also completely naked. Your clothes are nowhere to be seen.
I think I had found my robe at the end of the last session.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
was putting it back on.
Very good.
Along with my rickety quarterstaff.
Yes, that was nearby because they did not regard it of any value. They simply tossed it to the side. Your robe, while it is robe-ish, it is in very bad shape because they cut it off you. You can kind of use your belt type thing to kind of keep things together. But imagine a kimono that's not doing so hot is the shape that it's in right now.
Oh, that's fine.
Does anyone else want to do anything before leaving this cave?
I'll use my spot skill to give a quick scan around the room and see if there's anything else interesting.
All right, give me a 20-sided with that.
And 13.
Okay, you do not find anything of great value. You do find a single sword that you think you could probably resell for a decent amount of money, but it is almost certainly not magical. There could be something amazing in here, but you would literally have to excavate goblin poop in order to find it.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to head out of the cave and see if I can find our rather bearish patriot and see if I can help him with anything.
You make your way outside. As y'all make your way out, you are able to follow him pretty easily because of the trail of blood that is leading its way outside. You actually find that towards the very end of the cave, you find the trap itself. Within the chunks of his flesh are still remains inside the trap. I mean, it had completely buried itself into his upper thigh.
As soon as I can find him on the outside of the cave, I'll reintroduce myself, thank him for his assistance, and offer to heal his leg if he's a little more accepting now.
Well, he is not. It seems that he may have suffered some injury when he was fighting the Goblin King that you may not have seen. It may have even been related to the rod, but his voice seems to be almost completely gone right now, and he seems to be only able to respond in sort of gestures and grunts. But from what you can tell, he is sensed to the healing. So you are able to cast healing on him. Would you like to roll that for me?
And it is 4, 5, 6 total points.
Okay. You definitely can see the enormous chunks in his leg at least close up. He is now at full health and is looking much better. Better than all of y'all, because, by the way, you are all at half hit points still. You had just been through a horrendous battle, and you had all suffered greatly. But you are all kind of gathering yourself together as you exit the cave. Is there anything that y'all would like to do now?
Rest.
Let's find some place
Yes.
heading back towards our holdout. Figure out how far away it is, and whether we can get out of the grasp of the goblins that might be returning.
I think that is an excellent idea. You do not want to rest out here. From what you know about goblins and the fact that they are near a battlefield, they are voraciously scavenging this battlefield, and they will return here. You do not want to be near here. Goblins are very easy to defeat in onesies and twosies, but an entire horde of them might be a problem. So you begin making your way down the trail.
Morrissey will just follow what everyone else, because although very assertive, currently so in a lot of pain and not try to get into anything else extravagant.
Gotcha. Also, as you're walking, suddenly you feel a huge hand grasp you on the shoulder, Tix, and it is Osokai, and he mutters a very gruff thanks to you, and y'all continue your way down the path.
Penton, he would like to find some kind of available cloth, anything at all, to wrap up the broken pieces of the staff so as to not come into contact with it again, because who knows what would happen, and carry it out with him.
That is exceedingly wise. As you felt before, you suspect that you can touch the staff as long as you do not have the intent to use it, but it easily could be a stray thought on your part that could activate it, and you know that would be very bad. You also suspect that anyone else who is not a magic user, or potentially just anyone else who touches this, it would be very, very bad. And also just a point of clarification, it is half of the staff. It has been broken. You could not find the other half of the staff in the cave, and you do not know where it is.
Gotcha.
So you begin to make your way back towards, you're technically making your way towards the kingdom as well, but there was sort of like a stronghold that y'all had come from when you rode into battle on this day. Of course, Morezi did not, because she was more close to the goblin side. I'm sorry, the orc side at the time. But as you make your way forward, you do notice something rather unpleasant. You can see the remains of the outskirts of the battle. And what you see is that the bodies are rotting. Now, of course, they wouldn't be doing so great being out after a battle, but these bodies are rotting. They are literally decaying before your eyes. They look like they've been out in the field for a week.
The battle's just happened, so...
Kind of weird.
Yeah, some sort of dark
It was-
pestilence is at hand.
It was a battle that happened fairly.
Yes, this battle technically is probably only a few hours old, no more than 3 or 4 hours in the past, and none of you have any explanation for it, but both Penton and Tix. I'm sorry, is it Tick or Tix?
Ticks.
Tix, this makes you extremely uneasy. This is not right. There is a natural flow to magic and divine, castings and such, and this ain't it. This is not right. But y'all make your way far from this as quickly as you may. Now, you're able to set up a camp maybe a few hours from the battlefield. None of you are doing too great, but you all need to rest very badly. You're exhausted. You're at not doing great health. Are you going to set up any kind of watch that night?
Morezi volunteered, but let's Osokai first.
Yes, Osokai volunteers to go first. He does not seem as tired as the rest of you, or it might simply be that he refuses to admit that he's tired. Either way, he takes first watch.
I'll take third watch.
Okay. I don't have my system just in front of me. Does anyone happen to remember how many hit points you gain by resting for one night?
Let's find out real quick.
Okay, so 1 hit dice.
Well, that means we're probably going to be pretty much cured because we're all first level.
Yes. So, for the sake of argument, what I'm going to say is that this full night of rest regains all of your hit points. Of course, again, as you said, being first level, that means that y'all don't have very many hit points to begin with, but you do have... The interesting thing is, you've been carefully on watch all night, taking in turns, but you actually hear something approaching as the sun is beginning to come up. Who is on final watch?
I am.
Okay, would you roll
We're
a
doing
perception for me?
7.
So all you know is that you hear something approaching, but you cannot tell what it is or where it is from. But Tix, you can hear something coming through the trees nearby.
I start to rouse everybody. Hey, everybody, get up! Get up, get up!
I do not wake up right away.
The sorcerer sleeps ever so soundly, but you hear a deep growling from Osokai, and he begins to sniff the air as he rises.
Morezi also awakens partly from hearing Osokai wake up.
And Osokai actually sniffs the air, and he does smell something. He actually smells something very, very clearly. You all are going to smell it too, but he smells it first. It is the pungent odor of rot.
That's not good.
No, it's
That's
not.
good at all.
And through the trees come shambling 3 zombies.
Ooh.
Now,
Zombies. Classic.
it's a very classic move. Now, it's interesting because based on your basic knowledge, these things tend to be active more at night, so it's a little unusual that here at daybreak they're coming in. But the other thing is, there is no doubt in your mind that these 3 zombies are from the battlefield. They are rotting corpses that have been animated from that battlefield. And what you see is that one of them is a standalone elf, obviously from the quote-unquote good side, who has had half of its face cleaven off and is now stumbling towards you lopsidedly. The other 2 are very bizarre. It is a orc and a man, and the orc has his scimitar jammed through the gut of the man. But they are both very, very dead. But like a death grip, no pun intended, the orc has not let go of the scimitar. So they are, in effect, linked together as they shumble and stumble towards y'all. But they do see you, and they begin. And I need everyone roll for initiative.
I have rolled a 14.
I roll nothing because I'm still asleep.
Well, you hear blissful, gentle snores coming from the sorcerer known as Penton. And Tix?
Would I have to...
I rolled a 13.
What's that, Marezi?
Would I have to use my turn to wake up Kenton?
You can shout at him for free, but if you want to, like, physically shake him and wake him up, that would be your turn.
Okay, I'd like to shout at him without roll using.
Okay, you can do that in just a second. You are next, but Osokai is actually going to go first.
Let's make way for the big man.
He is actually going to go into a ready stance, like a combat stance, and he is growling menacingly at these creatures as they shuffle forward. And now, Marezi, it is your turn.
All right. I like to attack the elf first. I'm 20-sided die to hit.
Correct.
I have rolled a 1, assuming I do not hit.
Yes, that is a failure. I am going to roll a percentage dice here, just for giggles. And I got a 32, which is just fine. That just means you fail. You swing at it, but there's something so revolting about this creature that it causes you to flinch, and perhaps you were swinging for where the head should be, and it just whistles harmlessly in the empty space where most of its skull used to be.
Okay.
And now, Tix, it is your turn.
I think I'm going to attempt to pray to Garl Glittergold, turn the undead away.
All right, go for that.
17.
That is a good roll. Do you have details on how many you were able to turn of zombie types?
3 plus my charisma modifier, so I can turn up to 5.
You see the force of your god come forward and repel these 3 undead. Now, normally that would be all, but you can actually feel something pushing back. Now, they do turn and they do leave, but it's like when you are driving and your car is accidentally got the parking brake on. You know, it'll still go, but there's something pulling against it. And so it's very unpleasant. You have turned undead before. Not too often, but you have done it. But this is very odd. And the 3 just simply turn and slowly shuffle back. And Penton is still asleep.
Go over and gently boot him in the head. Wake up.
Oh, hello. Did I miss anything?
You know, you're useless sometimes.
I did have a nice sleep.
I'm so glad. Did somebody leave a chocolate on your pillow?
Oh, I hope not. That would be messy.
Time to get up, sunshine.
Oh, good. I have some studying I need to do.
Well, we've already been visited by zombies. I think we're going to be dealing with something else, and we need to get back to town pretty quick.
Well, yeah, I would agree. I'd hate to see a zombie around here, especially during the day. That would be weird.
Now, what you find is that as y'all are talking, Osokai slowly slips towards the woods where they were walking away from. Does anyone want to follow him, or are you going to let him do his thing?
Yes, Mora definitely follow Osokai because A, she thinks he's stupid to do that alone, and B, she is curious.
Yeah, I wouldn't call the bear stupid to his face.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's probably going to keep that to herself. So you follow after him. You can see that, and you're quite an accomplished hunter and tracker yourself. But when Osokai is trying, he slips silently through the woods like a whisper. And you follow these creatures as they turn back. As they are walking away, they begin to fall apart. But it's not a pleasant, like, a cartoon of bones falling apart. It's like a rapid aging. This is, again, like some you have chosen poorly from Indiana Jones 3 type of thing, where they rot and decay and spill to the ground.
Ooh.
How far are we from the battleground? How far did we travel to rest?
2 or 3 hours.
I'd like to walk up and try doing a little spellcraft to see if we can glean anything from that.
Okay, and also Osokai is checking out the bodies as well. But if you want to go ahead and roll for that, go right ahead.
I will. 14. Give me a 17 on the check.
Very nice. Now, is this sort of like your magical investigation, or is it something else that I'm missing?
Well, spellcraft is kind of like you're kind of gleaning the the basically the type of magic, which I'm assuming is probably necromantic, but just it doesn't give any details, just kind of gives the type of magic and what's going on with it, what might be causing it, if it's like something clerical or something magical, something like that.
Okay. Sometimes magic comes to you in the way like synesthesia comes to other people, and when you touch the edges of this magic, it's like when you bit into an apple and realized it was rotten. This is absolutely necromancy, but it's not right. You have, again, just like him turning the undead, you've encountered undead before. You've encountered even necromancy, but you've never touched anything quite like this. It's very unpleasant. It's like stepping into a pool of water and realizing that there's, waste in there. It leaves a very unpleasant feeling throughout your body.
You just
Yummy.
gave me the heebie-jeebies.
Osokai, you can see him searching through the remains of the bodies. The bodies themselves they didn't even have the decency to turn into dust. They've essentially turned into kind of a disgusting slime that is even still kind of moving slightly. But as he picks through it, he does find what is essentially a token of some kind. And he's not quite sure what to make of it, but he shows it to the rest of you, and it's neither orc or human make. It's a very undesigned.
Does anybody have a bottle?
No, I didn't collect anything out of the cave.
And everyone except, I don't know, Penton, do you have a pack? Everyone else has some kind of pack.
No, I just have like a small pouch on my side. That's about it.
Okay. Osokai takes it is, I mean, it's essentially a coin, but it's not a coin. It's clearly not meant to be used for spending. It's something almost more like a signet ring, like something you would use to identify. And he tosses it to you, Penton.
I will catch it and take it. Does it have like a specific design on it, or is it just something random or incomprehensible?
You can't make a lot of sense of it. What you do recognize is that it's a magical symbol, but it's one you've never seen, and that in itself is odd. Not unheard of. Obviously, there are magical symbols that you are not familiar with, but it's odd. It also, just as before, gives you an unpleasant feeling.
All right. I'm gonna rip a small piece of cloth from one of the former warriors and wrap the coin in it so I'm not touching it, and then put it in my pouch.
I'd like to use my knowledge of religion, pray over to my god that heals.
As you're praying, you see Osokai goes over to a small stream nearby. You've been roughly following it. It's probably why this path exists. And he begins to wash himself just to get the ick that he attained looking to get it off him. Would you go ahead and roll a 20-sided dice for me as you pray?
16 plus my modifier, that is a 1.
Okay, very good roll. What you sense, this is D&D. Okay, so while the gods are not just chatting you up day and night, it is not impossible for you to get a direct communication from your patron, and you do not get a direct message. You get a strong sense that there are answers to be had underground, and you don't know what that means because y'all haven't had any. You don't sense that it meant the cave from before, but that there are answers below.
So something is coming from the deep dark. Something is coming from underground to get us. Yeah, I still have the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, me too.
Well, your heebie-jeebies are interrupted by two more figures coming through the woods. And they are not zombies. They are actually twin dragonborn. And they have two swords drawn. And that's where we're going to end the episode today. Thank you very much for listening. I am Michael Corley, and we will talk to you soon. Want to see more from Michael and the gang? Go to chafingarmor.com.